I call this the face-to-face principle. And to my knowledge, this principle has never been named before, but I think this is a good name for it, as you'll see. So we're beginning with a shuffled deck of cards. And now we won't need the entire deck for this. In fact, if we have too many cards, it'll just take too long for all of the dealing out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to riffle down the side of the deck until you tell me to stop. Now maybe we'll shoot for less than half of the deck so that we don't spend forever dealing. So maybe stop there. Okay, very good. Thank you. We won't need the rest of the cards. Now at this point I need you to freely choose any card. Now this card is going to be known to both of us. It's going to be set face up. So there you go. So you chose at random the King of Hearts. Very good. Now we need a second card that we're going to put face to face with the top card. Now technically as the performer I would not see this, okay? And in fact I plan on actually looking away when I'll angle it to the camera so you can see it. So maybe you choose this one here. So let me just kind of angle that gently so you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. Now you're going to set it on top of the King of Hearts, okay? Now if you were here I would have you just cut the cards. That would be fine. We can also perform a Charlier shuffle if you would like. So Charlier shuffle, that's where you do top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to top. We can do as many of those as you would like us to. Okay. And what we'd like to do as well is I'm going to perform a shuffle that gives you a whole bunch of choices. It's called the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So how this works is we begin dealing the cards into piles like this until you tell me to stop, stop, stop. Okay. Whoops, sorry, stop. Okay, there you go. So the first shall be last, the last shall be first. And so all this means is you stack them, if I can pick up the silly cards, in the opposite order to which they were shuffled. Okay? So that's all we're doing here. The first shall be last, the last shall be first. From here we can actually perform more Charlier shuffles if you would like, or if you're here, just have you cut the cards, several times if you would like to. Okay? So very good. We could do some additional mixing, but I think the cards are mixed well enough, and you were given a whole bunch of choices as to kind of how we scramble these things. So let's go ahead and just kind of look at what we're facing here. Okay. So, of course, there's your King of, there you go, King of Hearts. Okay, that's great. King of Hearts. I'll set these aside over here. And let's see what's face to face with the King of Hearts. Okay, because I think you randomly chose that. You know what it is, I don't. So let's see what you actually put there. What? I didn't even think there was a joker. I thought I pulled the jokers out of the deck. What? What's going on here? Do I have any jokers in it? How in the world did the joker get to be face to face with your card? How is that possible? Man, oh man. Well, come to think of it, I should have warned you to watch out for jokers. I couldn't remember if I had one in there, but I guess I left one in. Anytime I leave a joker in the deck, it causes mischief. Okay? So this joker is, now let me think. What has he done? He's taken the place. He's switched places with the card that you actually set face to face on top of this one. I think the joker is going to tell me who he switched places with. I'm just going to listen to him here. A 3? A black 3. Oh, sorry, no, a red 3. A red 3. 3 of hearts. You switched places with the three of hearts? Is that true? Did he switch places with your card, which was the three of hearts? Did he tell me the truth? And at this point, the spectator's eyes are going to go big, like, how in the world did I, as a performer, know that that was the second card chosen? And how in the world did it switch places with this crazy joker? Okay, so that's what we're looking at today. It's called the face-to-face principle. A very, very simple principle. I apologize if some of these I call simple and maybe some don't agree with that, but this one I hope everyone will see as a very simple, quote, mathematical principle. Okay, here is a second effect using the face-to-face principle. So we'll start with a shuffled deck yet again. Okay, it will begin similarly to the last one, but with a twist. Once again, we don't really need the whole deck. So let me just riffle down the side and you tell me when to stop. Right there. Okay, very good. Discard the other cards. Okay, so we have these random cards here that were kind of decided by you. Now what I need you to do is choose any card, and both of us will see it in just a moment. So maybe you choose that one. Okay, so just set that face up. There you go. So this card represents you, actually. 7 of hearts. So I don't know what meaning you can derive from that, but 7's a very lucky number, by the way. And having hearts, maybe somebody with a big heart, I guess. Now, what I need you to do here is also choose a second card. But neither one of us will see what it is. And this is truly a free choice. So maybe you choose this one right here. So we're going to put it face to face with the card representing you. Okay, so you can imagine you're kind of looking in the mirror at yourself. Okay, so if you were here, I'd have you cut the deck so that we can kind of bury those. And we can also mix the cards using something called the Charlier Shuffle. In fact, I have a separate video on the Charlier Shuffle. This is a very powerful shuffle. It does a good job kind of just scrambling the cards, top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to top. Okay? And I want to also involve you to a significant degree. I'm going to perform something called the first shall be last, the last shall be first shuffle, which gives you a whole bunch of choices. So what I'll do is I'll begin dealing the cards out into piles, and when you tell me to stop, I'll move from that pile to the next. Okay, so I'll start dealing. Stop. You want me to stop there? Okay. Stop there. Okay. Stop. Okay, very good. Very good. So this is called the first shall be last, the last shall be first, and it simply means that we deal them out kind of from left to right, and then we stack in opposite order. Okay, so what was first is last, and what was last is now first. Okay, and then from here we could also do some additional Charlier shuffles if you would like, or you can just randomly cut the cards if you choose to. Okay, but what we want to do now is, I believe, if we take a look at the cards, I think we're going to discover truly who you truly are. So when you look in the mirror, you might see one thing, but the mirror is not going to lie as to kind of who you are. You're going to see yourself, like it or not. So what do you see when you look into the mirror? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. A joker. You see a joker. Are you one of those goof-offs where you're just always joking around and having fun and maybe not taking life seriously? Well, apparently the universe says that you are. So I think I see who you really are. You are a jokester. Okay, so that is the second performance. And it's important to know that, you know, you wouldn't have to use a joker for this, whatever card that you would like to have face-to-face with the spectators card. So I'll just, well, maybe we'll leave it here just for illustrations in a second. Okay, now the principle itself is not complicated. And I do want to point out, now this isn't necessarily true for the effects that I have been sharing on YouTube. In fact, most of the effects on YouTube that fall under the extreme math card magic, there's some significant mathematics behind them. Okay, they're not simplistic little things, and most of them have never been seen before. So the extreme math card magic presentations are a lot of fun, but the underlying mathematics is not trivial in the least. Now on the simple math card magic channel, I'm trying to keep the principles a bit more accessible to more people. Okay. Now at the heart of this principle is a simple packet reversal. That is all it is. That works the magic. Well, how would that help reversing the order of the cards? Well, just think about it. Okay, so why don't we, I'm going to go ahead and just put this on top, which, by the way, that is where it began for both of these performances that I just did. Okay, the first one I called Watch Out for Jokers, and the other one is I See Who You Really Are. Okay. Now in both cases, I had the joker at the very top. Okay. And then what you need to do is just keep it at the top through, you know, some hopefully fairly convincing riffle shuffling. And there are other ways to mix that would preserve the quote top stop. This is just one. You can do a table wash, you know, where you kind of set down cards all over the place. And, you know, kind of mix the cards to your heart's content. But you kind of have to keep an eye on that card there. So I'm kind of mix them. I'm keeping an eye on that one because that's where the joker is. Okay, so you kind of mix them, and then you just have to gather them in such a way that you're sure to put the joker back on top. Okay, so you can really make a mess of things because we actually don't care about the order of any of the other cards. The only one we care about is the top one. And that will be true, you know, regardless whatever top card you decide to go with. So there's a number of ways to mix the cards and have the spectator believe, no one knows anything about those cards. Okay, now at this point, to keep down the tedium, it is true that it's best to not work with the whole deck. So maybe work with less than half. Okay, or you could just have the spectator like cut off a certain portion. That's fine. You don't have to do a thumb riffle. Okay, so remember our special cards on top. Now, so just think about this. Here's the underlying principle. So if they choose a card at random, okay, and this card is made known to everybody by putting it on top. And then they're free to choose, okay, let's go back here. So remember, joker's there. And then they're free to choose a second card. Actually, it doesn't matter what it is, whether they look at it or not, which in the first performance, I had the joker one where it switched with the joker. I had them look at it, and I actually didn't look at it. And then you put it on top. Or in the second performance, that's entitled, I Can See Who You Really Are, neither one of us saw it. Okay, so genuinely no one knows what that is. So you put that on top, and then you can put these on the bottom if you like, or the top, and it would be smart to go ahead and just kind of cut the cards, right, to kind of bury things. Now, let me just point out that cutting the cards, let me just show that. The cutting the cards does not change the fact that I guess it's the 6 of diamonds was on top of this one, and there's the joker underneath. So there's no difference there. So I guess it is helpful for us to know which card we put on top for the explanation here. So 6 of diamonds, and then Joker on the bottom. Well, if you cut the cards, it doesn't change that relationship. Now, a wonderful shuffle that also is equivalent to a cutting of the cards is the Charlier shuffle. And I have a separate video on this. And this one is worth learning. It won't take very long before you can do this without having to look at your hands. You can carry on a conversation. But boy, does it have applications in anytime that you can cut a deck of cards without destroying things, you can perform the Charlier shuffle, and it is so much more convincing. So how this works, I'll just kind of do a quick little tutorial. You push off a certain number of cards, and then from the bottom, you push off and deposit a certain number on top, and then from the top, you deposit a certain number on the bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, whoops, bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to top. Okay, and so believe it or not, you can check it by using an ordered packet to kind of see what's going on. The Charlier shuffle is equivalent to, cutting the packet at some location. It really is equivalent to that. Well, what that means is it hasn't changed the fact that the 6 of diamonds is on top of our 8 of spades, and that silly Joker is still below. Okay, so nothing, nothing magical has really happened yet. Okay, now the magic for this is just so simple that it's devilish, I think, because if you reverse the order of the cards, reverse their order, it will move the Joker, which is below the 8 of spades, to be above the 8 of spades. Just reversing no, I didn't do this, right? I didn't just count them out, but let me just show you that it works, and then I'll show you what I did. So if you just reverse watch this, think about it. If I reverse the order of the cards, okay, so here is the 6 of diamonds, it's on top. Guess what? It's now below the 8 of spades. And what was below the 8 of spades, the Joker, is now on top. Okay, so reversing the order of the cards, all that does is it moves the original top card of the packet on which we had set the up-facing 8 of spades. It moves it so that it's face to face with the 8 of spades. And so what we've done is we've taken a known card because we knew that the Joker was on top of the deck. It was below our 8 of spades. Reversing the cards, it's now above. Okay, that's the whole face-to-face principle. Now, that's too obvious, right? If you just reverse the order of the cards, about everyone's going to go, now wait a second, what is that? Doesn't that change which card is face to face with the 8 of spades? And they would be correct, okay? So a much better way to go, in fact, let's just correct that there. So let's put that one below, this one above again. There you go. A wonderful shuffle is this first shall be last, and the last shall be first. I have a funny name for it. I just call it the FL squared F. So first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Okay? Well, that's that shuffle mixing procedure where you deal out the cards until the spectator says stop, stop, stop. Okay? And if you, this is important, if you stack from right to left, all we've done is reverse the order of all of those cards. All of that supposed kind of mixing and jumbling of the cards is equivalent to just reversing the order of the cards. But because the spectator is being given a choice to stop dealing into these separate piles, it gives the illusion that those decisions are going to affect the outcome. Now, it is true that if we had stacked from left to right, that would very much be true. The cards would begin to be randomized by doing that. But when you stack from right to left, as you can kind of verify, all it does is reverse the order of the cards, which is exactly the procedure that we need to perform when applying the face-to-face principle. Okay, so that's all it is. Okay, so now, you know, when you show the cards, you go, I wonder where that's brought us, and emphasize the fact that, like maybe they cut the cards. They certainly said when to stop dealing. For the first shall be last, last shall be first shuffle. Those were all free choices. Remind them of that. Say, okay, well, you told me to stop, and I just obediently did what you said. And then we just stacked them in opposite order, which would mix things further. Well, that's a fib, right? But it would seem to be the case that should happen. And then you can say, well, where has that brought us? You know, where has that brought us? What card, you know, is face to face with, you know, their card here? Now, so I haven't fully explained the first one. If you remember, the Joker switched places with that 6 of diamonds. You remember that? Okay. Well, how would I know that first performance? When you actually do it, it has a 1-2 punch. The first punch is that the card face to face now with their card, instead of being the 6 of diamonds, which is what the spectator saw, it's the silly Joker. The Joker's joking around, okay? Well, so that's the first kind of revelation, like, okay, wow, okay, how many Jokers are there in the deck? And they can check there's only one, and here it is. Okay, now for the second punch for that effect, all you need to do, so you just, you know, you're focused on these two, right? You're focused on revealing this. So you pull these cards aside like this, and all you need to do is just catch a glimpse of the bottom card somehow. Okay, so just somehow catch a glimpse, you know, as you're gathering the cards. They don't know what you're doing. As you're gathering the cards, just kind of spot. Now you know what card they actually saw and set face to face with the 8 of spades and the watch out for the Joker's routine. Okay, so I now know that. They don't know that I know it. So you just, you know, as you're fiddling, just kind of spot that and go, okay. Secretly, I know that now, so just set these aside. And their attention's focused over here anyway, and they're going to go, oh, well, I'm sure this is the 6 of diamonds. That's what I saw. And then you show that, okay, that Joker is up to no good again. So that's kind of the first punch. And then the second one is when you actually state, without seemingly ever having a chance to see what card they actually put face to face with the 8 of spades at the beginning, you can claim that the Joker, I think that's what I did, I had the Joker kind of whisper to me, you know, what card did it switch places with? Ha ha ha, you know, as it's messing around. And, you know, you say, well, he says it's a number card, 6? And it's, what is it? Is it red or black? Oh, red, and it's very expensive. Oh, I think he's trying to tell me it's the 6 of diamonds. Was it the 6 of diamonds that you sat face to face? You know, and hopefully they'll be honest and say it was. You know, their eyes will go bigger, and that's the second punch. The fact that you can divine or have the Joker tell you the identity of the card that they set face to face on top of the 8 of spades, only they looked at. And how in the world did you as a performer be able to figure that out or find that out when you had no opportunity to see what it was? Well, you know that that's not quite true, because as you were taking the cards back, as you're taking these cards out, you know their cards right here, and so you just have to kind of spot it in some way. Just however you want to do it, just kind of spot it as you're moving the cards around. Okay? So that explains the first one. And the second one is really the same thing. The only difference there for I see who you really are is the fact that neither one of us, you and me, you as the spectator, me as a performer, saw what card was set on top, face down. So that was freely chosen by the spectator. Now neither one of you looked at it. Okay? And then you go through the same steps, and in the end, you reveal that that silly joker is staring the 8 of spades in the face. Okay? And then you can kind of, make a joke about, the fact that the 8 of spades is looking into the mirror, and what does he see? Just proven that the spectator himself is a real joker, because that's the card that's face-to-face to him. Okay, so anyway, that is the face-to-face principle. So have fun with that, and you now have some ideas as to how to make use of that.